And the tragic attack and the ripple effect of fear it has caused can be felt all over the world, including here at home, especially since Arizona plays host to several high-profile events, from the Super Bowl to the Final Four and on and on. So Arizona's Attorney General Mark Brnovich joining us this morning to discuss terrorism concerns, how we cope with them here, and how we maintain a sense of preparedness throughout the year. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me on. And once again, our thoughts, our prayers, our best wishes need to go out to everyone in Manchester, everyone that's been affected by this tragedy. And it's another reminder that no one anywhere is immune to this. And what kind of savages attack basically teenage, mostly girls. I mean, they literally were pulling nails out of, kids. And it just, obviously the world's changed, and it's really, really a tragedy.
And it really is a designed attack to cut into our fear at the most base level. As parents, we want to make sure that our families are safe, and it leads you to a state where you want to start depriving yourself of enjoyable events and community experiences because you're fearful of what could happen. So how do you as a leader, how does the city and the state try to stay vigilance to make sure that we can all enjoy the great things that happen in our state?
One of the keys for us is we're part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force here, and we have a really great relationship with the FBI. So we're working with state, federal, local officials to try to get ahead of the curve.
Okay.
You may remember just last year we successfully, for the first time in Arizona's history, prosecuted a terrorist in state court. We successfully did that. This last year we worked on legislation to increase the penalties and to increase the definition to give us another tool in our toolbox as a state in order to go after those that would mean us harm. But individually, so law enforcement's trying to do its thing, and it's hard. It's what gives you gray hair, because they only have to be right once. We have to be right every single time. But as individuals, we tell our kids, my wife, we talk about, always be aware of your environment, your circumstances. If something doesn't look right, say something. And in the old days we worried about stranger danger, and you still got to worry about that stuff. But if you see something out of place, or maybe you see someone taking pictures of security or trying to test security at a building, I mean, that's something that maybe isn't a prank, maybe it's someone that means us harm, is doing a dry run. And so if you see something, say something. Make sure you're always vigilant. Don't become a creature of habit, and just be aware of your environment, your circumstances.
Do you see a change in policy for some of our big events and venues moving forward?
Well, I think that you're definitely will see an increase maybe in police and law enforcement presence. But at the end of the day, as this attack in Manchester showed, if you have someone some savage that's willing to blow themselves up, that's willing to literally die for their ideology, I mean, there's nothing
you can rationalize that.
It's almost impossible to stop, and you've seen that. And the great fear, I think, for a lot of law enforcement folks is the military has done a better job of cracking down on ISIS and ISIL in the Middle East. Those folks want to do their terror somewhere else. And so a lot of them, instead of going to the Middle East, are staying in Great Britain or wherever and engaging in acts of terrorism. And at the same time, because the internet's made the world smaller, people are becoming self-radicalized. So you have these radical groups that have all this hateful ideology online, and there's some person who's 18 or 19 years old that's
connecting with it next door to you. Who knows?
Sitting in their parents' basement, and becoming self-radicalized, and that's one of also the great fears. And so part of it is us making sure that we're being proactive, and we hope that folks in the various religious communities are getting the word out that this is not an acceptable way to practice your religion.
It's an abomination of religion, no doubt about it, and we have to all remain vigilant and report what we see and be aware of our surroundings.
Right. But at the same time, we want to make sure that it's terror by very definition is they want to scare us, and so we can't. That's how they win, and so we have to, as you remember, even after 9/11, it's important for us to not let them see that they are scaring us or that they're intimidating us, because that's what they want, and we want to make sure that we go ahead and continue to live our lives. It doesn't mean we should be safe, we shouldn't be vigilant. And we shouldn't, as law enforcement, we need to be proactive, but we need to make sure that folks know that they should go on living their lives, and that
we'll go to our sporting events, we'll enjoy our concerts, we'll be aware, and we'll continue to live life.
Right.
Thank you so much. Good to see you, Attorney General Mark Brnovich. Thanks so much. We'll take a quick break. More Good Morning Arizona coming up.